Dark.
The only way that we were going to defeat the League was from the inside.
Son of a bitch!
I'll never forgive you. Ever.
Does that mean we're enemies once more?
That depends on what you do with your end of the bargain.
Kneel before Ra's al Ghul.
Even without me, Starling still has heroes to watch over it. I want to be with you.
Can I say something strange? I'm happy.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Arrow Season 4 promo breakdown. They did something a little bit different from The Flash. The Flash did some voiceover on old footage to make like a promo for Season 2. Arrow kind of did like the WWE intro with Stephen Amell. So for those that are wondering, it's going to be just like last year with the couple months jump between the end of Season 2 and the beginning of Season 3. If you remember, that was basically just Oliver kicking ass in Starling City, riding high before he got his ass handed to him. This year's a little bit different because the cast is fractured, but essentially the same thing is going to happen. He's off with Felicity in Coast City, just living the life, like trying to figure out who the hell he is. He's left the Arrow identity behind, but whenever he came out on stage at Comic-Con, he was wearing his Green Arrow outfit. He said it was like a practice round for a WWE intro. He's going to be fighting, or maybe not fighting, but doing something with Stardust at SummerSlam later this year. I'm not a huge wrestling fan, but that does sound like a lot of fun. But basically, whatever ends up happening in this first episode, his encounter with Damien Darhk is going to cause him to put on that Green Arrow suit. It's going to be like the impetus for him to become Green Arrow. Because when we meet him for the first time, he won't be the Green Arrow and he won't be the Arrow. He'll still be Oliver Queen. So something is going to have to like shock him and say, okay, I need to evolve. The costume itself looks a little bit closer to the comics. He has the pauldrons. It's just like a little bit more armor, a little bit more tech. What I'm hoping is that, because the Legends of Tomorrow characters are crossing over with Arrow and the Flash, that he'll get some tech from Star Labs and from Ray Palmer, like everyone will collaborate to make him a better suit. Stephen Amell kept referring to, quote-unquote, his team, so I think Oliver is getting used to the fact that he's working with a bunch of people and learns to rely on them more. That was his whole big thing at the end of last season. He's like, when I started this, I never planned for it to turn into this big thing. The showrunner, Mark Guggenheim, was on hand and just said that the suit represents who he's going to become, and it represents a change in the tone of the show. It's not turning into a comedy or anything, but he will be more like the quippy, joke-telling Oliver of the comics. So if you've been saying like this whole time that you want Arrow to be more like the comics, then I think you're going to like Season 4 a little bit more. They announced a couple new characters. The biggest one, at least in my mind, because we already knew Damien Darhk was coming, so I don't consider him a new character, is Mr. Terrific. He's going to be a good guy. He'll be working with Felicity. They didn't say how the show is going to introduce him, but he will be the Mr. Terrific of the comics, presumably in the way that Ray Palmer became the Atom. So I'm not expecting him to come on the show and like his first moment, he is like a full-blown superhero. Probably over the course of the season, or at least the course of the first half of the season, he will become Mr. Terrific. If you don't know who he is, he's just like another longtime A-list member of the Justice League. In the context of the DC Universe, he's the third smartest person on the planet. Because they name-dropped him when they were talking about Felicity, I think it's going to be like the Ray Palmer situation where most of his scenes happen with Felicity at, whatever Palmer Tech is going to be in the next season. Remember, Felicity is the CEO now. Eventually the idea is that he will join Team Arrow and help them fight Damien Darhk. Speaking of Damien Darhk, they announced another new villain, like the small bad. Damien Darhk's the big villain on Arrow, but they said that Anarchy would be working for him. He's another comic book character, lesser, but just as much fun. In terms of comic book integration with its villains, I think that they're going to take a few more liberties because Damien Darhk, for instance, he was only around for an 8-issue run in Teen Titans. That's practically nothing, and he had very little to do with the League of Assassins, so they're going to change a few things, and they landed a really good actor. He's being played by Neil McDonough. You may not have seen him recently, but he's a great actor. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'd go as far to say that the villain each season on Arrow defines what the story is going to be. When you have Ra's al Ghul, it's going to be a certain type of story. Damien Darhk flows from the same type of energy, and for those that are wondering, if he's hundreds of years old, why does he look so young? Ra's al Ghul said that he stole waters from the Lazarus Pit. The whole idea is that all these shows, like the Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow shows, are becoming more international. So where season 1 was localized just to Starling City, we start to grow it slowly and slowly. Season 3 was kind of international. I mean, they did travel around quite a bit. It's just the show building its universe out. And on that same coin as the League of Assassins, Malcolm Merlyn is coming back as Ra's al Ghul. They didn't say that he would stay Ra's al Ghul for the entire season, but John Barrowman made this offhanded joke on the Arrow panel where he was like, do I get to keep wearing the Ra's al Ghul ring? Like the special ring that Oliver gave him. And the producer said, only as long as you continue to be Ra's al Ghul, as if like there was a ticking clock on that. Nyssa was not at the panel, but she will be part of the new season, at least a small part. Moving down the list, Thea was confirmed as Speedy. Her costume is essentially just like the variation on Roy's costume. And Roy will be back. It sounds like he might even be back in the first couple of episodes. He is just a guest star though. Colton Haynes only had like a 1-year contract with the show, so whenever he comes back now, it'll only be for like 1 or 2 episodes at a time. Based on what Stephen Amell has been teasing, it sounds like something happens with Thea in the first couple of episodes. Like she turns a dark corner, and that's what brings Oliver back to Starling City. They did say that they would explore the side effects of the resurrection from the Lazarus pit, and this sounds like it's going to flow from that. Moving on to Diggle. So really cool, he is confirmed to be getting like a helmet type face covering. He'll have like a suit too, but it's not like a superhero suit. It kind of looks like the Black Canary leather jacket. It's not like, bright green. It doesn't have a lot of like stuff sticking off of it like Oliver's costume. You can choose to think of it as a super suit, but I'm just thinking of it as like a face covering. He's just like hiding his identity. The closest analog in the comics would be Guardian, so you could say Diggle is Guardian, but he's not going to have a shield, and they're not going to call him Guardian. They haven't announced any other new characters yet, like they just started production this week. They literally just started shooting footage. The Flash Season 2 has already started to make some casting announcements, so I'd expect Arrow to start announcing who they've cast as some of these minor comic book characters pretty soon too. Mr. Terrific will probably be the next one, because that's a really big one. He's going to be around for the entire season. What about story details and crossovers though? So we know about the Flare-O crossover. They're going to do the episode 8 Flash Arrow, big crossover episode, but they're also going to be a 2-part episode with all 3 shows for Legends of Tomorrow. They're going to use 1 full episode on Arrow and 1 full episode on the Flash to tell this 2-part story that will lead up to the first episode of Legends of Tomorrow. They didn't say where that was going to land. Right now, it sounds like it might end up being the mid-season finale for both shows, just because like the next episode after that would be the first episode of Legends of Tomorrow. But remember, that's like before winter break. Typically what happens is the mid-season finale for Arrow and the Flash falls at like the beginning of December, then the show goes on break for about 6 weeks, then it comes back. When it does, Legends of Tomorrow will premiere. That'll be like the 3rd week in January. So it sounds like episode 9 of The Flash and Arrow will be that 2-part Legends of Tomorrow episode. That doesn't mean that that's going to be the only time that we see Legends of Tomorrow characters show up on Arrow and the Flash. It just means that like that 2-part episode will be fully dedicated to that cast and setting up what's going to be going on the spin-off show. The Legends cast was there. They did confirm Hawkman, but I'm going to do like a separate Legends of Tomorrow video where I'll explain what they said and what they've been saying about the show. Based on the way you guys reacted to different things on Arrow and the Flash, I can already tell that you're really going to dig Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be a while before we see it, but they will start releasing more trailers as they start to shoot episodes. The funny thing about the Legends cast that's different from the Arrow and the Flash cast is that the Arrow and the Flash people have already read the first couple of scripts for their episodes. The Legends of Tomorrow people haven't shot the pilot yet. But the only other really big Arrow details of note, like things that'll inform the storyline, are that Felicity will essentially be in control financially. So everyone always asks where Oliver gets money for all of his toys, all of his tech. This year, it sounds like it's going to be from Felicity. Like, he'll have to get her to sign off on stuff. And I forgot to mention it during my Flash video, but Vixen is coming up too at the end of August. It's only going to be 6 episodes. It's going to premiere about the same time Fear the Walking Dead premieres. I'll be doing videos for that. I'm going to do a trailer video in the next couple of days for that too. So be sure to subscribe to get everything. There's still at least like another 3 or 4 trailers that I need to work through. I have Star Wars, there's Warcraft, there's a couple of other things. So if you guys want updates on when all that stuff is going to post, just follow me on Twitter and Facebook. There are links for that in the description. After I get through all that stuff, I'm going to do character videos for some of these new characters they've announced. Like I'll do a Mr. Terrific video, I'll do another Damien Dark video. Lots of really exciting stuff happening. I think there's enough like really awesome, huge stuff to talk about to get us to August and Vixen. And Vixen will get us to that October premiere date for Arrow and the Flash. So while you guys wait for all that stuff, I've been doing like a bunch of trailer videos this week. You can click here for X-Men Apocalypse and like all the other trailer videos that I've done. It's just like a giant playlist. You guys can work your way down. And you can click here for my Flash Season 2 trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.